you think differently, it doesn't mean you should ever fight over that. And that you can debate issues, right? You can, right? And you can find common ground. And so I started the Great Debaters Contest with 4 high schools in Kibera, at Olympic High School in Kibera. And last year we did 700 high schools in 10 regions across the country. 700. Last year, I'm so excited to say we also introduced the SDGs. So we're able to teach schools at all levels, students at all levels, what the SDGs are. And so they become part and parcel of the change, the search for development. They actually become the ambassadors of transformation, because we can't leave it to government, we cannot leave it to the UN, we cannot leave it to Model United Nations students. We must transform together. And I'm so proud of that. And my message from that is, when I started it, I was scared. In many ways, I was as scared of success as I was of failure, because success would mean I would have to work harder and do more, right? But now when I look at 700 schools debating, it's amazing. The second thing I did was the Africa Leadership Dialogue. And that show, for me, is the ability to make Africans, more than anybody else, understand that we do have role models, right? We don't have to keep looking down at ourselves or on ourselves. We can learn from each other, we can adapt, we can grow, we can do so much more when we have more knowledge, more information. That's what that show is intended to do. I'm gonna end it there. Everything you do in your life must be really directed towards maximum productivity. Every time you have a plan, evaluate it and ask yourself, does this give the result that I'm looking for? And the quote, the African proverb, is it a proverb? I'm not sure. Okay, this one, you guys will tell me, I'm sure you've heard it. If you think you're too small to make a difference, then you've never spent the night with a mosquito, right? You get it? So last night, I killed 3 mosquitoes. I'm the mosquito ninja in the house. And get to bed, everybody's laying down, and then you hear it zzz. And you close the net, so you're wondering, how did it get in the first place? Got the first one, got the second one, got the third one, but it took me half an hour. Redirected my focus, I had to focus on them. Mosquitoes can make a difference. No matter how small you think you are, because none of us are small, we are all something, right? We are all human, we are all here, we all have capacity. But if you think it's just little me, and I have an issue too with litter, but how do I start? Start in your school. Start saying, hold on a minute, I have a problem with the way we're starting to behave. Get the prefects together. Start a strategic plan to ensure that you change things. No one is too small to make a difference, and with strategic action, we can surely change our environments, our countries, our continent, and ultimately the world. Thank you so much for having me here, and I wish you excellent deliberation. Thank you very much.
Welcome everyone to the 36th annual EMUN and the first interview, and I'm honored to be here with Julie Gishuru, who's an international journalist, and I'll just let her introduce herself first of all.
So my name is Julie Gishuru. I see myself more as an advocate for change, and when I say change I mean development, services to the people. Yeah. And yes, I work internationally, globally, but I'm really passionate about the African agenda.
Yeah. And you said that you were here at EMUN once upon a time.
Yes, 100 years ago.
Can you tell me about your favorite memory from EMUN?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I think for me the best thing was the coming together of so many young minds. Mm-hmm. The discussions and deliberations were intense. Yeah. Everybody was excited to come and contribute and to share, and it was just the mood and the spirit. And I remember watching and learning so much from other young people and really building my confidence. So that for me was so important.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And how do you think EMUN has directly contributed to your career right now? And what advice do you have for someone wanting to reach your career?
So in so many ways. When I left Form 4, I went to study law, and I had a deeper understanding, I think, of global politics and geopolitics, and I had an understanding of how the UN system works. Because of some of the debates we had here, I was able to grasp development issues and debate them even during my course in law. We did civil liberties and human rights, and that really impacted on my coursework, really my experience here. As I studied public international law, again, my learning here was critical. So I think in many ways, I took a lot. And even today when I go to New York, there are things that I remember about sessions here when I was a teenager. So I understand how it works even in New York.
And you said that you didn't necessarily study anything to do with journalism. So how did you go from law to business to becoming a journalist? What inspired you to do that?
So actually it was desperation. I needed a job. Would you believe that? And I had studied law and come back to Kenya, and I had to do 1 year to convert from the UK system to Kenya School of Law. And I didn't have the luxury of money to do that for a year. I really needed a job. And I looked at this journalism thing and I thought, I can do that. You know, in law, you're taught how to analyze a situation. You're taught how to we are very good writers, just you know, by virtue of what we do, and to communicate well. You know, to take a position, to tell a story. So I was like, no, I can do that, and so I just ended up doing that.
Julie, you're a great public speaker, and any advice you have for anyone wanting to be a great public speaker? Somebody who's walking up to the podium, legs are shaking, nervous, and they were stuttering the word.
Heart beating. So that was me, until I figured out that I'm enough. What I think is good enough. That I don't have to try to impress anybody, I just need to try to communicate. And when you stop thinking of yourself and you start thinking about what you're communicating and why you're communicating, your self-doubt starts to fall away. So it's really about removing your focus from, am I going to be okay? How will I do? How will I perform? To, I need to communicate a message. Why I'm communicating that message and communicating it the best way you can. The minute your mind makes that shift, honestly, it changes the game.
That's lovely to hear. And there are lots of people I've been speaking to who say that you inspire them a lot. And I want to ask you, who inspires you?
Oh my gosh, so many people.
And if you had to mention at least one person.
Okay, maybe at local level, Wangari Maathai was for me a warrior. You know, I just see her as this amazing warrior for the environment, and she saw things way before the rest of us could see them, and so I find her absolutely inspirational. But I mean, I have a lot of people I admire who died hundreds of years ago, and I have people I admire who are living today. And what I do, I look at people I admire and I extract the things I like about them and try to learn from those things. And then I also understand that they're human, so the things that I don't like, I don't focus on. And I just learn from what I think is amazing about them, and I adopt it.
There's lots of young people watching this interview, and what advice do you have for them? I know youth have a very open mind at the moment, and they're looking for any advice they can get. So what advice do you have for them?
So, you know, the world often looks at young people as a problem, and they're trying to fix. Like, we've got to make you better, make you stronger, build you for the world. It's the opposite. I think young people are actually idealistic and poised to change the world, and then the world is there trying to fix them and taking all their passion away. My advice to you is hold on to your passion. If there's something you're good at, it was planted in you for a reason. So nurture your talent, do the things that you love, and then connect the things that you love with the things that you are passionate about in terms of development. Ultimately, a lot of people seek success in life, but I want you to seek success and significance, because it is significance that will give you fulfillment and happiness, and there's a difference. So look towards both of those.
Thank you so much for the great interview, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm a senior chair for the ICJ and the Global Health Council. So in the ICJ, we basically look at previous ICJ UN cases and see if the judgment was right. And in the Global Health Council, we look at world health issues and what the best way is to solve them from two different solutions. I think, like most people, I came when I was 10. And now I'm 15, so 5 years, and I think every time I've done MUN, it's built my character, it's made me a more confident person, and I think it's done this for a lot of people, and that's what makes it such a great program. But this year, I really want to focus on doing my best as a senior chair, of course, and trying to meet people from different cultures and learning their perspectives on how we can solve global issues and just come together so that we can have the best solutions out there, because people here are very talented and driven individuals who can really change the world. When I was 10, I didn't even know what MUN was. I came and I was nervous, of course, but I didn't give up. And that's one thing I'll say to everyone watching is don't give up, because year after year there were new challenges, but every time I conquered them because I kept going up to speak, I kept doing it, and here I am 5 years later as a senior chair. Actually, MUN has made me find my passion, because the first year I did human rights, and that was great, but then the second year I did ecology, and I did that for 2 years, and I realized that environmental conservation is something I really want to do in the future. So not only does MUN provide a platform where you can talk about global issues and find solutions, it gives you confidence, and in my case, helps you find your passion.
I just think that MUN is a really good program, because it just gives everyone the opportunity, no matter what school that you come from, to all band together and talk collectively about an issue that affects us and people around the world respectively. So it's something that gives you an opportunity to be really able to understand the global dynamics of the world as they are currently, and what we can do to change them, and how we can learn from what's happened in the past. Special Summit is kind of different to the rest of the committees, because it's a place where we can go and do active debate. So like, for example, last year, we learned a lot of things, we discussed things like whether intelligence should determine whether or not you get to vote. And this year we're discussing things about whether medical marijuana should be allowed to be utilized by children. So it really just opens your mindset in terms of, it makes you think about things that you've never considered before, and the either positive or adverse effects that it would have on the world as a whole. That this is an opportunity that a lot of people in impoverished areas, especially here, somewhere where we live in an LEDC, where we know that people are suffering on a daily basis. This is something that we should really take an opportunity to grab, because it's something that a lot of people, even in our own schools, don't get an opportunity to take part in. So we should really just take advantage of what we have and learn from it, because there's so many things that we're learning from it that could help us impact the world in so many positive ways.
I've been in MUN ever since I was in grade 8, so that's about 5 or 6 years now, and it's been perhaps the most changing experience of my life. I came in grade 8 as a shy boy who didn't know what he was doing, who didn't have the opportunity to speak up in front of many people. And well, I came in and I saw that people are so confident, so flamboyant with their language, and really taught me something. It taught me that in this world, if you want to ever make a difference, you need to get noticed. And how do you get noticed? One of the best ways to get noticed is to inspire people to speak out and to express your opinion in front of others. And well, that's what MUN has given me an opportunity to do. Over the years, I've been working on my speech, trying to be able to speak better, trying to be able to speak without stammering, trying to be able to speak with more facts, more statistics, information, bring everything together and come out as a really good speaker. And I feel that MUN has redefined the kind of person I am as a whole, from a really shy boy to a talkative and, well, outgoing person, I would say. My message to my peers would be never be afraid. You know, in life, you'll always have challenges, you'll always